Is that your cue?
Yeah, that's
tell
my cue.
me that the show has started. Say something, woman.
Say something, woman. I'm gonna make that a song.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Ooh, baby.
That's all right.
Say something, woman.
Good morning. Good morning.
Get that ooh wee in there.
That ooh wee.
I'm moving right past you.
Ow.
Oh my God, the Commodores is in the The Commodores. What's happening, family? Welcome to the show this morning. It is Michelle Bryant here, WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM. You're listening to Say Something Real. Feel like I've been on vacation. Feel like I've been gone for a long time. Yeah. I think I even got a little bit of energy.
Yeah.
Except I was up real late last night.
Yeah.
So anybody looking on YouTube, Facebook, yeah, my shirt wrinkled. Just listen. Don't look at the screen. Just listen. Let me say good morning to the brides in the studio.
Good morning.
Look, he just jumped right on that. What do I?
I just said good morning.
Just jump right on that. Just
I'll jump right in.
Good morning. Sound like somebody granddaddy. Good morning.
I ain't as enthusiastic as you are this morning.
Why? What's the problem? You done had like.
Well, yeah. That's the problem.
Oh,
we got used to it.
So I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
It's a part of my good morning.
Oh.
There you go.
Are you wrong when you know how excited you are when your family come into town? Because they've been here since like last Monday. Every day they want to do something, and then we had the big.
Is this a barbecue
cookout.
left? Because I need some meat.
Yes.
Is this a barbecue left? I had no ribs. I had no barbecue.
Are you wrong because of your excitement level when they all come to town and you're all together and everything? And then like yesterday we had a 75th birthday party for one of my cousins, so they all still here. They didn't like leave Monday morning. They still here.
What you doing? Then he look like
They still here.
he looking all crazy.
Leave.
They won't leave.
So my question is it wrong when your level of excitement is greater when they leave than when they got here?
You know, I mean,
why
we do this with you every time your family come to
but
town?
But I love to see y'all just go home so I can get back to my life.
Just you always do this, Debo. I mean, why we gotta?
And I know that some of them may be listening this morning. Yeah, I'm talking to you. You too.
Take your
home.
What they say, you ain't got to go home,
but you got to leave here. Yeah.
You know, I mean, we do this with you every holiday, every family gathering. Like, come on, Debo.
And you should have been ready for it.
I'm just saying.
I'm tired.
And look, before they get here, you got to come through. We gonna set it off. We got this. We got this.
And we
do. We gonna be doing
That's
this.
the level of excitement when they get here.
And then by third day,
I holler.
My cousin Teague, he did it right. He drove over from Toledo, Ohio, Saturday morning.
Okay.
About 4:00, he turned around and drove back to Ohio.
He don't like being bothered with y'all. Teague trying to tell y'all something. He did it right.
He said his girl had to go to work.
No, that's all excuse, bro. Ain't nobody drove 6 hours to come over here and then turn around and go back home the same
his
day.
Girl had to be at work on Sunday.
Nah, really? He was scaring y'all.
I didn't believe
it. He
either,
know y'all. He know y'all. He wasn't be bothered with y'all.
I appreciate the fact that he came and went.
Yeah, I'm just saying, because we got to show up.
Right.
Check in.
Right.
But trust and believe, I can't stay long. I got something.
Can't stay too long.
Got something else to do.
So
no, Debo, we ain't trying to hear about your sad life.
Oh, Lord, damn.
But you still got some barbecue. Not barbecue. Barbecue. Then I'm gonna need a bone or two. Mr. Ryan, how was your holiday, bro? Or I shouldn't say holiday, but how was your weekend?
Well, no, actually, my weekend was actually good, man. I took some personal time, as I always do, and spent some time with myself.
That just sound right at all.
Yeah, I spent some time with myself
at all,
and spend some quality time with myself.
Don't keep it going.
And
just stop it there.
Quality time.
Yeah, some quality. Cause sometimes I don't spend quality time with myself.
There goes my dress.
There you go. Oh my.
Oh my.
No.
Oh my.
Ain't no dresses going over my head, but to
The message is the same.
it's the same.
Right,
No,
right.
no, seriously. I actually took some me time.
We still
Spent some
doing
me
that.
time with
Dude, you're
myself.
single.
I went to the
All
gym.
your time is me
Yeah,
time.
right.
Okay, well,
Right.
well, I took some me time. Turn it
Right.
Gill.
I took some me time. Everything you
Yeah.
do is me time.
You know, so I went to the gym, worked out. I got some nitro in me, and
Really?
went to work. Yeah,
That's what
just
you
to
felt
work
you
out.
should share.
Yeah, I got some nitro in me, went and
Bruh.
worked out, and I didn't eat no barbecue.
This don't require.
No.
This little sad
Oh.
story don't require.
I mean, though you asked, so I had to tell
I'm
you.
just saying.
I spent some quality
nitro,
time with myself.
like
Got
this-
some nitro in me.
This don't.
Went and worked out.
Just say it was. I had a good week.
I had a good weekend.
Pitiful. It sounds pitiful.
I had a good weekend.
She get you,
Really
she get you a
pitiful.
woman.
Like, I should have invited him over to my family.
Send some of your cousins to his
Yeah,
house.
this dude here.
I probably wouldn't have came, but
You'd have been there.
mean-
You'd have been there.
I had to spend some quality time
Just
with
sad,
myself,
just
man.
sad little stories.
I mean,
man.
hey, listen.
I hear you, bro.
Every now and again, you got to embrace yourself
That's all you do, though. That's all you do.
and hold yourself tight.
We
It made
done,
me think of that line B.B. King said, "How blue can you get?"
how sad,
Sad.
can you be? But look, I would love to say that any of this was my experience. It was not. I just want to say I had an opportunity to go to see the kids over at Lincoln
Nice.
School
for
of
the
the
play.
Arts. Oh my God.
It was nice.
Oh my God. The babies that did the Frederick Douglass
Frederick,
musical,
Yeah.
these young people were phenomenal.
I thought it was at Roosevelt.
I mean, Roosevelt, I said Lincoln.
Did they
Yeah.
sing the song?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Right.
And the little boy, he could sing.
You saying?
He could sing. And he had his little hair all thick and combed over to the side like Frederick Douglass.
Wow.
And then a girl played Frederick Douglass too. So
Nice.
the way they wrote this play, it was basically set like the students of the arts were rehearsing the musical.
Mm.
So you got to see real life issues impacting these students, as well as the historical content of the play.
Wow.
When I say these kids were and they only had for their set a video screen which had like images relative to the different periods in history that they were referencing,
Mm.
and they had like crates, like
Milk crate.
milk crates. That was the extent of their props.
Wow.
And they had one little set of stairs that Frederick Douglass stood up on to make one of the speeches. That was it.
Wow.
What these babies and the adults that work with them did, and from what I understand, all of the adults, former students of the arts here in Milwaukee. What they did was nothing short of phenomenal. The talent level was crazy and off the chain.
And these are all students of
These
of
are all
that
in middle
particular
school. Middle school students.
Yeah.
And so when I tell you that I was so proud of these kids, Judge Taylor was there again. She went to see it twice.
Wow.
And she was like, we got to bring this to the African American Women's Center. We got to get these kids to perform this again. And I just to see what they did with so little.
Yeah.
But the talent factor, off the charts. And thank you to the many WNOV listeners that showed up on the night that I was there. The encore night, I saw tons of our people in the building. Kathy and Josephine Hill. I saw Kennedy and her granny there. I mean, like, when I tell you, I appreciated our community and people who said they heard us talking about it on the show, and they ended up, coming out. But so I did that. And then I had an opportunity to go. Oh, and let me just say this, and I'm going to have to do a segment on this. It was said, I don't know how much, I don't know the backstory, how much detail, how much truth it is, that there may possibly be an effort underway to cut the arts program at Roosevelt. Some of the children were extremely emotional after the production was over. 2 or 3 other young people were actually crying. And I was trying to figure out, like, is this just being overwhelmed at the performance? What's going on? And somebody like pulled my coattail and said, Michelle, there is rumors, discussion that MPS may be getting ready to pull the arts program at Roosevelt. So I'm going to try to get to the bottom of that, because my frustration at that moment was our kids can't never have nothing. They strip everything out of these schools that make going to school interesting. All of the extracurricular activities that some of these other surrounding school districts afford their children, and I was saying to some of the students who have participated in the play, these are college scholarships. What you're doing right now, acting in these plays, these are scholarships. These are careers. There are people who are able to go on to, Howard and Brandeis and all these other schools to get fine arts degrees, Morehouse. And if we cut these pathways off, like we done chopped up all the band programs, chopped up some of the choir programs, arts programs, our children keep losing.
And there are some. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a gentleman by the name of Ralph Wilcox.
Yeah.
Who grew up right here in Milwaukee
Yeah,
and went on to great fame. He did some movies. He did Happy Days. He did a lot of stuff. Started out doing drama in high school.
Sitcoms.
Yeah, he did a lot of different things. Ralph Wilcox. His mother went to Bishop Williams Church. He belonged to the same church we went to.
Yeah. Though he used to come over to the house.
He regular on Heat of the Night and different things like that. He did quite a bit.
Yeah,
grew up right here in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
There are other actors. The boy that was on Moesha.
Yeah, Bentley.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I actually work with his family.
Yeah, I remember Ralph.
I see Ralph Wilcox, born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah, he used to come over to the house.
He's 75 years old. Still doing, I guess, still out here.
And my dad was friends.
Mm-hmm. Ralph was a good dude.
Yeah.
Memorable roles include Jam and Jim Jenkins on the Emerald Cove of the Mickey Mouse Club.
He did a lot.
Mason Freeman in Sequest 2033, The Wiz in the Broadway production. He wrote, directed, and produced Lena Baker's Story.
Remember the episode of Good Times when
JJ? He sure was.
He played the dude that wanted to kill himself or something. He took all those pills.
Robert. I just pulled it up.
Yeah, that was Ralph Wilcox.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm looking at his film credits: Happy Days, Megaforce, Columbo. Not Columbo.
Man, I remember seeing him on TV at the house.
Matlock.
Watching it.
Yeah, he's done a lot.
It was like, Mama, that's the dude that was at the house. He's like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my point. Is that, and so I'm going to try to get to the bottom of it, figure out if in fact that is the case. And then, what we need to help try to do as a community, because we can't keep letting our children take these shorts, y'all. All of the outlets, the things that made your GPA stay high, because I want to be in the band, I want to be on the football team, I want to do this, I want to do that. All those things are just, and people think it's okay to strip our children down to nothing.
Yeah, because nowadays, home ec and shop, all that stuff that was in school when we was in school,
right?
And it was able to teach us how to make omelets and how to cook stuff that you was able to take with you after you left school is now being taken out of school. So you got a lot of kids that's coming up that don't know how to use a hammer.
I know how to sew because of
exactly
taking home ec in school.
Yeah.
I literally and I know how to mess with cars because of taking shop.
Yeah, exactly.
I did both.
So these is like trades that can actually go with you for the rest of your life.
Whatever happened to 4-H?
They still have it in rural communities, suburban communities. We don't have it.
We don't have it in the
and like I said, and people just act. And then this was my other frustration, because I'm like, if in fact what they were saying about Roosevelt may be true, didn't they have a line in the whole referendum begging that this is going to be money used to support the arts, to put arts programming in our art programming in our schools? I'm like, I know I heard that. So that will be my goal, is to reach out. Somebody said, wait. Somebody hit me on Facebook. Hold on. But that is going to be my goal, to try to get to the bottom of that and figure out what, in fact, somebody said, I've heard some of the arts programming at High School of the Arts is being cut as well.
Wow.
We need to talk to Quesadilla, whatever her name is.
Quesadilla. Say, wait, ain't that a meal or something?
Yeah,
What her name is?
Casilius child.
Oh, Casilius.
Quesadilla.
But so this is my point, and I'm like, y'all, we can't. If any of this is true, we can't sit on the sidelines and let this stuff happen.
Not at all.
You know, I mean, we got what 2 bands in all of the 140 schools, or how many schools is in this district? We got King and Riverside, and they not even full bands.
Yeah. See, and what's happening is life skills and life traits are being taken away from kids early. So if you take that away,
but we stripping fun from these kids too.
Yeah, I mean, but that's
these are also forms of opportunities to earn.
Yeah.
You can go on to be a professional
exactly.
in these professions.
Because if I didn't have band and choir and home ec and stuff like that, just the basic stuff that I know how to do, as far as like, you know, cooking omelets, you know, mom showed us
omelets.
Because hold on. I'm saying no, hold on, hold on. I keep saying
you said omelet.
that's my second time saying it.
You cook 2 meals?
No, let me finish, brother.
That's what he cooked.
Let me finish.
At home by himself.
No, let me finish.
When I'm alone in my room,
I cook omelets. No, what I'm saying is that was the thing that they started off with us. They started off showing us how to cook omelets, and I remember that because of the teaching and the training that I got. Now I can cook other stuff, but I'm saying going from the beginning of
you make a hell of an omelet.
Hey, listen here, man. I season that thing real good with some Lawry's. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. But what I'm saying, I use that as an example of me being where I'm at now, and I can still remember that right there.
I don't diminish any of
that. Right.
Don't diminish any of that, because when I tell you I'm a fool on some sewing,
say, baby, won't you come
and
by?
what we were able to do,
I'm gonna cook you an omelet, baby.
Flip it once. Flip it twice.
Okay, I'm moving past y'all.
3 times later.
See how y'all just messed up stuff? See how you
Debo started it, man.
For y'all just to go down and just inappropriate all the time. Just mess it up.
I'm tired of being alone.
So,
I want to make somebody else an
I'm moving past.
My name's Jermaine, and I'm a Leo, baby.
And I make one hell of a omelet.
Let me take a second, because I saw a video on social media where this black lady was singing, and she was Happy Memorial Day. And she, we go barbecue and we got ribs. And she was just getting down, and I was just like, where the hell is the delete button? Because I was so disgusted. I'm like, ma'am, that's not what Memorial Day is about. Yeah. I need you to stop that. A lot of people have gotten schooled. We don't say Happy Memorial Day. People got schooled on that.
Yeah, let me do this. Happy about that,
no. Yeah. So, but let me do just my momentary blackness before I go to commercial break, because I just need you. I wake up black and sew my sleeves. So let me do that. And I'm gonna take this from Time magazine real quick. Is it long? Let me see if it's long. I don't want to do it. Okay, it's not too bad. Say what?
So you need me to turn it up?
No, I'm not gonna play it.
Okay.
Nowadays, Memorial Day honors veterans of all wars, but its roots are in America's deadliest conflict, the Civil War. Approximately 620,000 soldiers died. About 2/3 actually died from disease, though. The work of honoring the dead began right away all over the country, and several American towns claim to be the birthplace of Memorial Day. Researchers have traced the earliest annual commemoration to women who laid flowers on soldiers' graves in the Civil War hospital town of Columbus, Mississippi, in April 1866. But historians, like the Pulitzer Prize winner David Blight, have tried to raise awareness of freed slaves who decorated soldiers' graves a year earlier to make sure their story gets told too. According to Blight's 2001 book, Race and Reunion, The Civil War in American Memory, A commemoration organized by freed slaves and some white missionaries took place on May 1st, 1865, in Charleston, South Carolina, at a former planters' racetrack where Confederates had captured Union soldiers during the last year of the war. At least 257 prisoners died, many of disease, and were buried in unmarked graves. So Black residents of Charleston decided to give them a proper burial. In the approximately 10 days leading up to the event, roughly 24 African American Charlestonians reorganized the graves into rows and built a 10-foot wall, a 10-foot white fence around them. An archway overhead spelled out "Martyrs of the Race Course" in Black letters. About 10,000 people, mostly Black residents, participated in the May 1st tribute, according to the coverage back then in the Charleston Daily Courier and New York Tribune. Starting at 9 a.m., about 3,000 Black school children paraded around the racetrack holding roses and singing the Union song, "John Brown's Body," and were followed by adults representing aid societies for freed Black men and women. Black pastors delivered sermons and led attendees in prayer and the singing of spirituals, and there were picnics. James Redpath, a white director of freedmen's education in the region, organized about 30 speeches by Union officers, missionaries, and Black ministers. Participants sang patriotic songs like "America" and "We Rally Around the Flag" and "The Star-Spangled Banner." In the afternoon, 3 white and Black Union regiments marched around the graves and staged a drill. The New York Tribune described the tribute as a, quote, "procession of friends and mourners as South Carolina and the United States never saw before." The grave sites looked like one mass of flowers, and the breeze wafted the sweet perfumes from them, and tears of joy were shed. The tribute gave birth to an American tradition, Blight wrote in Race and Reunion. Quote, "The war was over, and Memorial Day had been founded by African Americans in a ritual of remembrance and consecration." In 1996, Blight stumbled upon a New York Herald Tribune article detailing the tribute in a Harvard University archive. But the origin story it told was not the Memorial Day history that many white people had wanted it to tell, he argues. About 50 years after the Civil War, someone at the United Daughters of the Confederacy asked the Ladies Memorial Association of Charleston to confirm that the May 1st, 1865 tribute occurred, and received a reply from one S.C. Beckwith. Quote, "I regret that I was unable to gather any official information in answer to this." Whether Beckwith actually knew what the tribute or not about the tribute or not, Blight argues the exchange illustrates how white Charlestonians suppressed from memory this founding. A 1937 book also incorrectly stated that James Redpath single-handedly organized the tribute, when in reality it was a group effort, and that it took place on May 30th when it actually took place on May 1st. The book also diminished the roles of African Americans involved by referring to them as Black hands, which only knew that the dead were honoring had raised them from a condition of servitude. The origin story did stick, involves in 1868 from General John A. Logan, a president of Union Army veterans groups, urging Americans to decorate the graves of the fallen with flowers on May 30th of that year. The ceremony that took place in Arlington National Cemetery that day has been considered the first official Memorial Day celebration. Memorial Day became a national holiday 2 decades later in 1889, and it took a century before it was moved in 1968 to the last Monday of May, where it remains today. According to Blight, Hampton Park, named after Confederate General Wade Hampton, replaced the gravesite of the Martyrs of the Race Course, and the graves were reinterred in the 1880s at a national cemetery in Beaufort, South Carolina. The fact that freed slaves' Memorial Day tribute is not well remembered is emblematic of the struggle that will follow, as African Americans fight to be fully recognized for their contributions to American society continues to this day. So I got to take a break. But I need y'all to always remember that a year before anybody else can officially document when this first observance of honoring the dead of the fallen or the fallen soldiers from the Civil War, it was Black folks by the thousands, 3,000 school children alone. That's why it's so important that we fight when we see people talking about diminishing Black studies programs, getting rid of African American history, our history not being taught in schools, whether it's K-12, thank you, Wisconsin State Legislature, or whether it's on the collegiate level, thank you, Trump administration and Ron DeSantis. Our history is American history. And many of the things that people celebrate and cheer and root, our handprints are all over it. I'll be right back.
UNOV. Correspondent Elaine Quijano and a story made for Memorial Day.
We are blessed.
When Kisha Patterson last spoke to her husband Esau,
It was an ordinary conversation under extraordinary circumstances.
We talked that morning, and he was like any other day. He was like, "Hey, I'll call you back." I was like, "Okay," not thinking too much of it. Kind of took it for granted.
In April of 2004, Army Staff Sergeant Esau Patterson was serving in Iraq. They'd met years earlier in church at Fort Benning in Georgia. They got married, had 2 children, and were planning a family reunion for when he returned. But then came a knock at the door.
There's 2 uniformed service members standing there, and they looked at me, and I could see tears in their eyes, and that's when I knew.
A car bomb had killed her husband. He was 25 years old.
I would never get to say goodbye. I would never get to touch him. I would never get to do anything else.
What did it mean to you to have service members there with you?
It meant that what he died for was okay, that he was truly protecting and serving this country.
Those soldiers were carrying out a solemn duty that had not always been performed. During the Civil War, the military had no formal casualty notification system. Occasionally, families would receive a letter. By World War I and through the Vietnam War, the military was sending telegrams until an Army wife named Julia Moore, known as Julie, stepped in.
She completely changed the culture of the military.
Greg and Dave Moore are her sons.
In 1965, where during the Battle of the Ia Drang, death notices were delivered to spouses by telegrams in taxicabs. Cold, cruel, dispassionate. She was outraged.
I have 2 battalions on this valley.
Julie Moore's husband, Hal, was a highly regarded lieutenant colonel then, serving in Vietnam, when, as she described in a letter, a taxi driver pulled up to her house.
When he rang the bell, I decided not to answer. That way, everything would be all right. I finally said to myself, "Come on, Julie, you have to face up to what's to come, so go answer the door."
Turned out he needed directions.
And so at that moment, she knew what it felt to get that telegram, and she never wanted to have anybody else get that telegram and not have somebody physically with them.
So Moore made a deal with the local Western Union office. They would call her whenever a telegram came.
A telegram. A cab.
The 2002 movie We Were Soldiers portrayed how Moore would rush to comfort the widows. Even as she cared for her 5 young children, Moore helped other Army wives on the home front, as she recounted in an interview.
I think people forget that these men have families, and these families have problems, and the wives are left alone to deal with them as best they can. And these women were really up to the task. They really were.
Together, the Army wives successfully lobbied the base commander.
What they really wanted was the Army make a fundamental change, which they did, in that the Army should take responsibility for delivering these telegrams to the wives and personally care for the spouse during that time of cathartic change.
Service members now notify families in person and offer additional support.
In that moment, right before you knock on the door, what goes through your mind?
I just said a prayer, like, how can I be of service to this family? I don't know what they're going through, but give me strength to, face whatever it is once I ring the doorbell.
When Army Sergeant First Class Kendrick Ray delivered a casualty notification in 2021, it was a sacred mission. Now he helps families in the days after.
I believe now it's my purpose. I can let people know, like, hey, you're not alone. We're right here with you every step of the way.
Julie Moore died in 2004. Her husband died 13 years later. In 2023, the Pentagon renamed Fort Benning Fort Moore to honor them both. It marked the first time an American military base had been named for a civilian.
It's not a legacy she asked for. It's a legacy she built herself towards. And the hero rises to a moment and achieves great things.
This year, the Army post was again named Fort Benning, but just down the road at the National Infantry Museum, her name endures.
When you think about what she did, what comes to your mind?
She's phenomenal. I can't imagine having received a telegram with that information on it. So I just thank her. There are husbands that endure the same pain. There are mothers and fathers. There are children that get these knocks. So she has truly made a difference for.
All right, folks. So I wanted to make sure that I also, I saw this on CBS this morning. One of my favorite things to do if I'm at home early on a Sunday morning is I watch CBS. Then I watch both the local and the national CBS news. This morning, the stories typically are high caliber, great human interest stories. They do a great job of diversity and balance, and this story caught me. I wasn't familiar with Julie Moore's, story and the difference that one person can make. We talk about that all the time. My vote doesn't matter. Me showing up doesn't matter. What they gonna do is just me. This woman makes a deal with Western Union, who is literally getting the notifications that people have been killed in service, and they just give the note to a taxi cab driver and say, "Hey, take this over to this house over here on Calumet Road and hand that to whoever answered the door." Nobody trained to deal with grief, to help and I don't even know who I'm handing it to. And so this woman said, "No, this is unacceptable. We cannot do this." And works to make these changes. And now, for folks who were listening to the audio who couldn't see it, there is this Black woman who has also been the beneficiary of this white woman's work, Julie Moore, this wife's work of a soldier. So when we're thinking about Memorial Day, that's important. But you could tell that CBS is undergoing a shift. CBS has had some high profile people quit because they didn't like the way the newsroom is kind of being impacted by the current Trump administration. At the end of that piece, if you were listening, you heard them say that Fort Benning, Georgia, the military base Fort Benning, in 2023, the name was changed to honor Julia Moore and her husband, who was this big time, military person. And it was the first time that a civilian had their name put on a military base. That was in 2023. What year is it, y'all? It's 2025. That name was changed back to Fort Benning. Who did that? The ignorant 5-time draft dodger and his ignorant cronies around him. Fort Benning was originally named after Confederate General Henry L. Benning, the person who fought on the Confederacy. You was the enemy of the country. Donald Trump and his people go in and remove this woman's name, who is the reason why families receive proper notification of their loved ones, and her husband's military service, to switch it back and put a Confederate soldier's name back on the base. Anybody else see the irony in this moment? The draft dodger, racist president, goes back and renames a lot of these military installations after the very Confederates who fought against the progress of the country. why history is so important. So important. The contribution that this woman made, it was significant. It was huge. And what does my man do? Who found a doctor who would create some bogus nonsense about some damn bone spurs so he didn't have to, answer the call to duty like my daddy and many of y'all had to answer. You ain't got to go to Vietnam. You ain't got to go to World War II. You get to just evade some more. And then you rename these military bases and put Confederate soldiers, leaders' names back on these bases. And you got these people serving, Black folks in particular, under folks who wanted to keep them enslaved. And every day I got to walk into this military base with the name of somebody who was fighting for me to remain a slave on the top of the archway when I come on the yard. So just wanted to have that moment. Now, if I could for a sec, can I please ask that anybody watch the documentary Untold? Untold is the Brett Favre's little story that's on Netflix. If you have not seen it, particularly if you're a Brett Favre fan, I would encourage you to watch it. A couple of interesting things about it. Untold talks about what they call the fall of Brett Favre. Okay, how you go from being America's hero to being this, skanky man who steals from low-income people. And by the way, you also are a womanizing pervert along the way. The thing about it is, number one, and Brett Favre is now out with a statement saying that Netflix is going after him for being an outspoken supporter of Trump or some mess. I don't know. Yeah, but Brett Favre, there was a reporter in the documentary Untold in which when Deanna Favre was going, Jermaine, Debo calling, and when Deanna, Brett Favre's wife, was going through cancer treatment. And this reporter said that his media outlet said, hey, we want you to do a piece on Brett Favre, and we want you to, a family man supporting his wife, blah, blah, blah piece. And the reporter said, yeah, I don't write fiction. Did y'all catch that? His wife is going through cancer treatment. And the reporter is asked to do this piece on Brett Favre about, stand by your woman while she going through cancer, family dude, I got your back. And the reporter says, I don't write fiction. That everybody in Green Bay knew that Brett Favre was a womanizing tramp, basically, is what it comes down to. That cheating on his wife and publicly people figuring out what was happening was well known. They also showed the story of the young woman who ultimately goes on to work for the Jets to do kind of like hosting interviews with fans and stuff, and how Brett Favre started stalking this woman. And this woman had kept everything, where he was texting her, I'll send a car over to get you, I'll come pick you up. He eventually sent her a picture of his privacy, his penis. And the woman had all this. Now, she had told this dude, no, leave me alone. And she even said, and I know I had an uncanny resemblance to his wife. Looked just like Deanna. But I need you to leave me alone. I'm not interested. Don't mess with married men. Leave me alone, go away. Brett Favre just kept stalking this woman. So Brett Favre eventually goes to work for the Jets. Guess who loses their job with the Jets? This woman. Because she complains, get y'all boy, he harassing me. And they are like, we'll look into it. And then when it's time to renew her contract, she loses her job. Okay. Then they do the scandal down at the school with the volleyball mess. And then they talk about he was an investor in this medication company that dealt with concussions medication. And then, so when we find out that this scam with the TANF money down in Mississippi that was intended to go to poor people went to go build his volleyball field, we also find out that the TANF money, which was intended for the poor people, also go to this company that he's a 41% shareholder in for the concussion medication. At the end of this scandal, 6 people all plead guilty to stealing his money. None of them have gone to jail. Brett Favre has never been charged. But this is the reason why I want to bring it up. Because most of us know these stories. Who was in the documentary? Jamil Hill, Michael Vick, Shannon Sharp, Stephen A. It was one more person. It was only Black people that was willing to call out Brett Favre. Stephen A. clowns him on his show. Shannon Sharp clowns him on his piece. Jamil, she went for the jugular, talking about, how this woman got treated and handled. Michael Vick just offers up so I go to jail for a dog fight that I wasn't even at. It happened at my property, but I lose my career, damn near everything, for a dog fight. This man steals millions of dollars. And they got the text messages where Brett Favre say, can I get in trouble for this? Can they leak this back to me? Can anybody find out about this? 6 other people get charged. Then you got this man sending people pictures of his penis, but I got to go to jail for a dog fight. This man is a thief and a sexual harasser, and he go to the Hall of Fame. And only white people that's in it is reporters. There ain't no white athletes talking about Brett Favre. There ain't no white, coaches talking about Brett Favre. No white, nobody white is quoted in this other than reporters. The only people calling out Brett Favre's BS is Black people.
Now, just imagine if that would have been a Black man doing what Favre did. Now, if Vic can go to jail for dog fighting and he wasn't even there, just imagine the scandal if the complexion was Black.
You already know. You sent a woman and this is the crazy part. So there's this magazine, this online publication called Deadspin, which is how this young lady who Brett Favre ends up stalking basically starts her career. She's talking casually like me and you are co-workers, and we just offline, just chatting. And she mentions, because something else comes up about Brett Favre, and she says, dude, the perv. He was stalking me. He sent me pictures of his penis, blah, blah, blah. The dude she's talking to is the editor of Deadspin. He tells her, I'm getting ready to print all of this. And she said, this is a personal conversation. Do not print this.
Right.
But all he had was what she said.
Right.
He paid somebody to hack into her cell phone and her computer and got the actual photos of Brett Favre's penis and all of the commentary, the text messages, and he posted all of it. So in the documentary, they say to this dude, so what do you think about what you did? Because you even acknowledge that this was a private conversation,
Right.
and she asked you not to do this. He said, yeah, at the end of the day, it's two people that are pieces of crap in this documentary, Brett Favre and me. So he basically said, so,
He took initiative. Wow.
so I don't care. I'm just getting ready to even more create public. And she said, and what happened to her after it gets printed, everybody come after her.
Well, yeah, because everybody was in love with Brett Favre.
Yeah. She said, she a home wrecker, she a tramp, she it is, she can't get no work. Won't nobody touch her. And she said, this is the crazy thing, how the documentary ends. I ain't never been in a room with Brett Favre. I ain't never had a conversation in person with Brett Favre. I never agreed to do anything crazy with Brett Favre. She said, so literally, I have lost everything over a man I've never even been in the same room with.
Well, that's the power that he carries because, being the face for the good old boys and you playing football and you're the white action hero. Your sense of power is heightened.
Yeah.
Because now that you got the people that's in place that can make stuff happen, they like you.
And they basically was saying people was in Green Bay watching him be a big time hoe. And when, everybody and they show Deanna, like, did you cheat on your wife while she fighting through cancer, Jesus? But I guess it don't matter. Because, whether it's cancer or you having a baby or whatever you doing, and that your wife knows you cheating on her, and the public humiliation. Because that's the thing I just wonder, do people think about, like, hey, bruh.
They don't.
So you got everybody out here laughing at your wife like that? And then what if the shoe was on the other foot?
Oh, he look like Dumb the Fool.
No, but like your wife got a man and everybody knows she got a man, and then you standing here.
Yeah.
Bros couldn't take it. Men could not take what they dish out. Yeah. They couldn't take it. So if you have not seen Untold, I'm going to tell you, but the fact that it wasn't nobody but black folks that was willing to call this cat out.
Yeah, I mean, again,
too much. Too much.
The blacks or the reporters or the people that came out and spoke out against this know that the powers to be that's in place know about these things, but won't say anything because of they can move the goalposts. They can move and shake and make stuff happen. So when you got people like that on your team, I can do whatever I want to do. That's like, pretty much to what Trump is doing.
Yeah.
He's doing whatever he want to do because he got movers and shakers on his team.
But in this case, like, you put them people in place and they put you in place. Yeah. So they can manipulate you and do whatever they want to. Yeah. I think that's what they basically trying to say about Diddy's situation. Yeah. That you got cats around you that put in place that know you don't whoop this woman and don't nobody help this woman. Whatever you think of why she stayed, what she doing, the reality is you can't be beat nobody, and I'm there and I know it, and I don't help this lady. You just can't do it, fam. Yeah. You can't do it. And so again, please, if you have not seen it, check out Untold and just pay attention to how the only people willing to speak truth to power outside of the white reporters is black athletes, black sports commentators, black folks. That was funny to me. I gotta take a break. I'll be right back. Dude, it was so raggedy.
you.
Thank you.
Aw.
You gonna show us how to line dance?
Yeah. It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you.
It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you.
It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Now, back to Say Something Real with your host, Michelle Bryant on WNOV.
All right, family, welcome back to the show. Let me do two things. One thing. Before I got off the air last week, I had a conversation about the little girl, who her mother nicknamed Miss Shirley, who actually it's a longtime family name. Doesn't have anything to do with the little girl who's doing the little dance, the line dance to where the fans at, or boots on the ground, I should say that. And I talked about how there were adults and people that were weighing in, mostly a lot of Black folks, talking about that the mother was out of order. She was using this little girl to make money, fame, whatever.
Michelle.
Yeah.
I could help you set this up a lot better. I got like a 1.8-second video that I can show.
Oh,
the
go
audio
ahead.
will still come across the air. It's her on Jennifer. She actually dances, and then you'll get a chance to see a real outfit that she has on. So I think if you can take a look at that screen there, you'll see it as well.
Okay.
Yes, if you bring up the video over there on the board, yeah, you should be able to get it across the airways as well.
It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Aww.
You gonna show us how to line dance?
Yeah.
All right.
Come on, Miss Shirley.
Miss Shirley, how did you get that name?
Because I just call me that name.
Oh, you called you that name. So nobody gave it to you?
No.
No? Mom, where'd she get the name from?
When she was a baby, like we was getting ready to get in the car one day, and she gave me attitude. She was crying. I was like, "Now we're not gonna act like this today, Miss Shirley."
That's you as a baby?
Yes.
Yes.
You need to go to the store and get you one of them big fans that say Miss Shirley on it.
It should say Miss Shirley. I think you're right.
About this little girl doing this line dance. People said she was shaking her butt and, being grown and blah, blah, blah. Well, somebody escalated it to the point that they called the Department of Child Protective Services on this mother and lodged an abuse complaint against this mother. And so the mom made a video, clearly upset, distraught, about why somebody would do this. And, her mother was like, if you see my child is well taken care of, has everything that a child could want. This baby is dancing. And the fact of people turning it into more than just that, that's on y'all. And I just had to just say that I know I talked about it. I had some people to text me and hit me up, who disagreed with my position, that I was not offended by it. I didn't have a problem with it. I think it was more that we need to pay attention to the way we see stuff and the way Black children are adultified and over-sexualized and just all of the nonsense, about the way people perceived it. But some of those same people did hit me up to say, okay, I still wouldn't have been calling no damn child protective services on this woman. It's kids that are genuinely being abused. I disagree with a parenting decision made by this woman. Now you potentially get this child snatched out of her mama's house. And if there are other children, that those other children can be impacted. And I just wanted to bring it up because I just wanted to remind people, like, y'all be doing too much, man. Because it's times when y'all Negroes need to open y'all mouth and speak up, and you say nothing. Like, go vote. Like the stuff we see not happening in our city. Like, you know, all kinds of issues we genuinely need to weigh in on. The quality of education. What's happening, you know, around this town. But people will pick up a phone and call Child Protective Services on this woman when there's nothing that says that this baby is abused. Nothing. Now, you ain't got to like that her mama letting her do a dance, but at the end of the day, it's a dance. Her mama ain't got her selling her on the damn stripper pole and making kiddie porn with her. That's not happening. And nobody said that happened. One thing leads to another, but it wasn't, though. So when I tell y'all, that hurt me to my heart, that because as somebody who has worked on that side of things, and I understand how easy it is for Black people to lose their children in the system, and how hard it is to get those kids back, and how we as Black parents get judged very differently. Crazy be going on in white folks' houses, and then people keep their kids. You don't understand why there are no beds, but there are air mattresses, and you want to, you know, question the parents' ability because they don't have a lot of furniture. But the kids are well fed. They not sleeping on the floor. Even if they was sleeping on a pallet, they get up, they go to school, they got good grades, they clothes is clean. But I want to put my judgment about how I do things on you and require you to live a certain way.
I spoke to it once before. I mean, when you look at the Shirley Temples of the world, I mean, she started dancing somewhere. She got exposed somewhere that she just didn't come out this child star. Somehow or another, somebody had to see her dance and sing.
It just hurt me. Because like I said, I know what it's like getting caught up in child welfare. It ain't no joke. It ain't no joke. And the damage that could be done to a child being pulled out of a home in which that baby is loved and cared for, and potentially put in foster care or sent to go live with some other relatives. Like, you set this whole cycle into play because you didn't like a parent's decision. And parents make decisions for their kids every day.
Yeah. These
kids that's being homeschooled, I don't believe in none of that. If your kid ain't got no medical situation, why they being homeschooled? But I'm not getting ready to come tell you your kid missing everything. Just missing everything. Oh, well, I take them to the museum and the zoo. It ain't the same thing as going to school and sitting in the classroom so you can have your first crush. You know, you can learn social skills. You can learn.
I was about to say, even social skills.
Yeah, I mean, you can learn, you know, how to talk crazy to Jermaine when he started ribbing. It's like, oh no, I'm sharpening my skills. You know, like all of the stuff you miss. But I'm not getting ready to tell his parents you can't homeschool your child.
Yeah, but you might be grooming Jeffrey Dahmer Jr.
Or like we finding out now,
and move.
They talking about changing some of these rules about homeschooling because a lot of these people was abusing these kids, like this white woman and this Black man.
Yeah,
that just got done.
I saw that.
You see that? And I'm looking at this brother like, hey, bruh,
unbelievable.
What you doing? We don't do this. Like I had a whole racist moment.
Not a racist.
I did, because you know. Black folks don't do this.
Well, you know what?
We'll be locking, chaining people up now.
Because you know good and doggone well when we heard about the sniper, no way you could have made us believe that dude was a Black man.
Come on now.
In the trunk.
Oh, you said Alvo, leave Alvo.
Washington, D.C.
Yeah,
pulling
like
that off. Yeah.
Everybody Black was like, what?
So like, that gotta be a white person. Just based on the crime, you already knew it was white man.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was a brother right there. Yeah, that's how we get out. But no,
like we don't do that.
Dude
just like when they talking about the situation going on right now with Sade Robinson and the man getting ready to stand trial, dismembering people. We don't do that.
Yeah,
we don't do that.
As soon as I heard that, I was like,
we don't do that.
It can't be Lil Bobo now. It can't be,
bruh.
Yeah. It can't be.
I am not getting all that on me.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
Hey, that's that's
Can't
almost
even
like
stomach
that.
And we the toughest dude in the neighborhood. But talking about cutting somebody, come on, man.
Ain't nobody doing that.
But did y'all see that Saturday night thing that one when they did it with guess who, guess which color the criminals was?
Saturday night. SNL did that?
SNL did. Oh, you gotta look it up.
Guess the race of a
the criminal. It's hilarious. Because dude is sitting up there and they say which one, he'd be like, yeah, that's a white dude. That's a white dude. And it turned out to be a white dude. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
you gotta pull it up and see it.
No, because we know, just like even something so simple. Alisa did this thing on white people love trail mix. And I just started busting out laughing.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, Ali, slow your roll, bro. I like trail mix.
See, but you know what? That's like almost like going to the barbecue. You got that one white person there, and there's raisins in the potato salad. All the black people gonna look at that white person.
And
like,
I'm just being honest.
I
think that's a myth.
Yeah,
I've
it's
never
true.
seen raisins in the potato.
Oh, it's true. I've seen it. It's true.
Right-handed
guy. Right-handed guy.
I seen that.
Right-handed guy.
Raisins in the potato.
Right-handed guy. I've seen it.
Yes.
I've seen raisins. It almost look like roaches.
Jackie, have you ever seen raisins in the potato salad? See, Jackie said no.
That's because she ain't been around the white folk.
To the right white folks' house.
All right.
Y'all so out of order. I can't stand y'all. I cannot stand y'all.
I mean, it comes to your level of exposure. I thought I was looking at macaroni and cheese, and it was cheese grits. I had never seen that before.
Cheese grits is popular down south.
I'm from
I
here.
don't like them, but yeah, cheese
Grew up
grits
here,
is very popular.
hadn't been down there. I'm down in Tennessee, and I'm like, pass the macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, you know it's macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
Well, just because of the color? Because it didn't look like macaroni and cheese.
It did.
No, it didn't.
It was one of them big tables. I was at Mary Bobo's down in Lynchburg, Tennessee.
That's a restaurant?
Mary Bobo.
It's like an inn. It's where Jack Daniels. It's Lynchburg.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm on this tour, but I'm working for the liquor company. So this big conference table. So it's way down the table.
Oh, so you just saw the top.
Hey, give me some of that macaroni and cheese.
For breakfast?
And I'm the only black dude there.
For breakfast?
Yeah, this was like lunch.
Oh, lunch. Okay.
It's like lunch. There's no macaroni and cheese down here. Oh, you mean this? Oh, this is cheese grits. Never had it before. I tried anything.
Yeah, cheese grits.
I had barbecue. What's the stuff in the shell that you eat raw?
Oysters.
Yeah. First time I had that, but barbecued, I was able to do it. After I did the barbecue, then I could eat the raw.
Yeah, I can't do the raw.
Now cheese grits is
cheese grits and shrimp. That's like a huge thing. Yeah. New Orleans, the South, Southern states.
Even though I don't
eat. I don't eat cheese grits though. I can't do it. That's Keisha. Yeah. Keisha tear.
But yes, I have seen raisins in the potato salad.
Let me go to the phone line.
The string bean casseroles.
My daughter-in-law makes string bean casserole. She surprised
me. Does too.
Yeah, well, somebody needs to.
Super
actually good, Jermaine.
Listen, somebody need to change my.
But it wasn't the kind of way theirs be made with the little
string beans and stove top, and I'm out of there. I quit.
Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, now I just wanted to point out. Could you please tell all them folks that was messing with this child's mother that they won't say a word about Brett Favre and his BS. White supremacist folks have lost their mind. They think they run their God because they got a bloodline.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you, bro. But I'm gonna just say, yeah, you could. I'm just some black folks was probably calling Child Protective Services.
I don't think it's the
in
white
this
folks.
case.
Can I be truthful?
Yeah.
I don't think that Jermaine would have called Child Protective Services, but he had his opinion.
I did, and since you're gonna go there, Debo, I'm gonna punch you in your throat, and I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah. No, you did. No, you did, brother. No, brother.
Them people.
No, brother. Listen, if you look down at your feet, you're sinking in quicksand. I see.
He said
I'm gonna
he
say
didn't
that.
think you would call.
No, he lied. No, listen.
You think he's
I know
Debo.
Messy? I know Debo. If you look down at his feet, he got mud on his shoes right now.
Messy right now?
All up from the waist up, he clean.
Well, okay.
But he got mud on his shoes, and I know what he's doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and address this thing, brother.
Like to
Let me
that,
address this thing, brother. Let me address it. You brought it up. I'm gonna address it.
I get so sick of y'all.
That's cool, man.
Let me address this thing, because you know Debo is the kind of person that'll stand next to you and elbow you in your ribs, and then act like he didn't just hit you in your ribs.
Is
So I'm gonna
throw
address
the ball
this
and
thing.
hide your hand.
Yeah, something like that. But I'm using elbows in the ribs.
Just okay.
Debo, respectfully. Now I wouldn't have never called CPS.
I said that.
I don't let me address how I'm gonna address it, brother. Now I would have never called CPS. However,
oh my God,
I don't agree with not letting a child be a child. Now, even with the Jennifer Hudson interview, that little part in there that when she's a little too grown, you're acting a little too grown. And just for me as a parent and as a grandfather, this is just me. And there's more than one ways to skin a cat, but I choose to skin a cat this way. That I want my child or my grandchild to experience being a kid, because you're going to have time to be an adult, because those kids years you will never see again, but you have more adult years ahead of you. So that's just my version of it. Again, I would have never called CPS because I don't think she was harming the child physically. I just think it's a mental thing that's been created with this child, because even though she's acting grown now, and it's funny, when she get 10, 12 years old, that little grown spirit that was in her then is going to manifest itself, and it's going to be even growner, if that's a word, but I'm using it. She's going to be even growner at 10, 11, 12 years old, because you were allowing her to experience somewhat of adulthood of how you carry and talk around people with the child and girl and all that other stuff. It's funny and cool, but you have to allow a child to be a child. That's just my point. That's it.
I ain't even touching it.
Please don't.
I ain't even,
because
again, I don't feel like having this fight. Fight again. Let me go to the
say,
that's just me.
Donut says punch you in your throat.
Yeah, all in the throat. All in the throat. I
punch you in your throat.
In the throat.
We gonna work on the violence in this studio.
Sometimes it come out.
Let me go to the
all in the esophagus.
Hey caller, what's happening? Y'all a mess.
Good morning, Michelle.
What's happening, Doc Myers? How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Now, the first thing I want to say is, Jermaine.
Yes, ma'am.
I want you to go back and watch the variety shows from the 1970s. And there was a cute little girl on there, and she was imitating Mae West. And she was so good at it. And it was like one of the things that made the show. And you know what?
What's that?
That little girl started working when she was like 9 years old. And she's still working today. You know who that is?
Who that is?
Janet Jackson.
Exactly. Okay, my point.
So
now, my point.
started.
My point. And I'm glad you brought it up, because I wasn't going to say that. But I saw on one of the shows that when Janet Jackson was little, Michael Jackson was introducing her. She came out, she was switching, she had on a little fur little thing around her neck.
Because she was doing an imitation of that.
I get it. But as a child and as a parent looking at that child, that's something that you will see an adult do. That's almost as if you saw an adult doing childish things. You'll look at that adult kind of sideways, right?
No, I think when you separate it into entertainment and knowing that she was a child.
And that's all it was. This woman was being raised by Jehovah's Witnesses.
Again,
who did not play.
Again, people's.
Janet Jackson's mom and daddy did. Joe Jackson didn't play, and her mama show didn't play.
So Keisha. So Keisha, let me ask you this.
Something.
And she credits her daddy today.
I get it.
He told me, yeah.
But Keisha, if you stump your toe right now, am I going to yell or you're going to yell? You're going to yell. So what I'm saying is, that's just my
preference. It depends on how she did it, because some of us would be standing on the sideline, be like, "Damn,
your big toe is mashed up."
We do that all the time.
No, I'm just saying. It's just for me.
I get it. We can agree to disagree.
That's it.
Yeah, sick of him.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's
now,
going on?
You know, when we have our kids, and then we can talk about that.
You know, you had this conversation, Jermaine. You're not trying to really cooperate.
Oh, okay.
See.
Okay,
Hey, look,
I
what I say, the writing be on the wall.
I'm turning my mic off now.
Be cool over there, Jermaine, before you get punched in your
Yeah,
face.
man. Angela's gonna come punch me in my
There should
throat.
be a
Man.
screening process. All right, what's up, Keisha? What you got?
I am calling, Michelle, because you know you have been talking about making sure that we support ourselves in this time in which we live with, you know, crazy man in the White House. And one of the things that I want to let the community know about is that it is time for our annual HBCU Alumni Awards and Kickback. It will be happening this Friday at the Hilton Garden Inn Northwest Conference Center, and we are inviting the community to come out and join us. This is our major fundraiser for scholarships. We have 4 scholarship recipients this year, 2 high school students that are going to continue their education at HBCUs, and 2 current HBCU students, one attending Spelman College and the other at North Carolina A&T. So we are raising funds to continue our scholarship program. And even if you didn't go to an HBCU, pick one. We invite everybody. We can adopt you too. So it'll be plenty schools there representing. If you got a friend that went to an HBCU, come out and support this event. We are continuing to grow. You know, after COVID, we had our lull and all of that, but we are back up and running strong. So we're inviting folks to come out to that event to help us out.
All right. For people who want information, like, are there tickets? How does
Yes,
this work?
there are tickets available. You can go to eventbrite.com and purchase tickets. Tickets are $50. It will be a dinner meal. So, and then we have DJ Mr. Martin on the ones and twos. So you can make sure that you come out. It'll be a good time. And for those that are also worried, I know we have people who were like, well, when is the next trip, or when is the next thing that we're doing? Football season, college football season is right around the corner. I know we just started summer, but we are preparing for that. The Southern Heritage Classic is being played in Memphis, Tennessee. And so we are also sponsoring a bus trip to the Southern Heritage Classic. And this year's Classic will feature what I think is the best HBCU, Alcorn State University, versus the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. So we'll be playing in Memphis, Tennessee in September. So if you are interested in attending that trip, and there will be some other cultural heritage events, and yes, a casino trip to Tunica, Mississippi is involved in that bus trip as well. So if you want to go and see all of the North Mississippi casinos, we will make sure that you get there. So you can join us for that excursion and trip as well. That information, I think I sent Devo the flyers for both of those, where you can sign up. But you can contact me for more information about the Southern Heritage Classic trip, and that is at 504-814-0664. And I can answer questions about both of those events.
And, you know, I just want to tell you, you know, for folks that listen, like, because we've made a commitment to make sure that the community has access and opportunity to do a lot of things. We have a lot of folks, you know, some of the seniors too, they're not driving like they used to, or people that's like, look, it's just me by myself, you know, but I would love to see a HBCU game. I would love to go here. I'd love to go to this. And so people have said, you know, would y'all organize and put some stuff together? And so that's exactly what has
we heard
happening.
them. Yes, we're doing that. And I will give people a sneak peek. If you've never been to Hawaii, get your ducats together, because we go into Hawaii Martin Luther King weekend.
That's right. So look, Devo looking like, wait, what? What's
we
that?
going to Hawaii.
What's happening? What's going on? So
right.
yeah, so no, so and we'll, like I said, because after I started talking about, you know, going to South Africa and then going to Greece or doing stuff, people's like, can y'all do some trips? We want to go somewhere. Hey, this, and like I said, this is no money making anything. It's just being able to give people an opportunity
Absolutely.
to move
we
around.
Travel all the time. Look, I just got off the plane, this morning?
Yep. So, coming back from the Dominican Republic.
Coming back from the Dominican Republic. So this is what we do. So making sure that people have access an opportunity to different things. So I will make sure that I continue to give folks that information. But yes. those are the next two events.
Let me do this too. No way I'm not gonna have you on the line and not bring up the passing of Charlie Rangel.
Yes, yes.
As somebody who actually worked on the Hill, have been around some of these storied people that actually helped start the Congressional Black Caucus.
Yes.
Any comments on the passing of this icon in politics in American history?
Absolutely. Congressman Rangel was so funny, and he at working in the in the offices on the Hill, you get to know a lot of the Black members, and some of the committees that he was on, I had the opportunity to staff, and so you interact with them on an intimate level. You get to talk to them. We had big hearings that were in New York. When I had to go to New York to work on 9/11 hearing, he was there. So making sure, and I will never forget him saying, "Nothing comes through Harlem that doesn't come through Rangel." So that was you couldn't do anything in Harlem if it did not come through Congressman Rangel. He really held firm to his beliefs. He made sure that he was about his district first and foremost. And when I tell you he was unapologetically Black, that is one man that was unapologetically Black. He believed in doing everything for his people.
So a brother who first got elected to Congress in 1970 becomes the first African American to chair the Ways and Means Committee.
Yes.
Got on
Which
it.
is one of the most powerful committees in Congress.
Right. And I think that's what Congresswoman Moore is on now.
Yes.
And I know she had been lobbying for a long time to get on that committee as well. He gets on the committee in 74, but he doesn't become a chair of the committee until like 2000 and something.
Absolutely. Yes.
Like it's so crazy. But so I'll talk a little bit more about him. I got to go to break, but thank you. I'll get you on one more time so we can remind people about this HBCU event and just encouraging people to come out and support that so we can make sure we helping to send kids to school. Thanks so much. I appreciate you. All right now. All right, family, let me take a quick break. Be right back.
To Say Something Real with your host, Michelle Bryant on WNOV.
All right, family, welcome back to the show. So before I went to break, taking a moment to acknowledge the passing of former Congressman Charlie Rangel, one of the founding members of the Congressional Black Caucus, who made history as the first African-American member of Congress to lead the powerful Ways and Means Committee. He represented what is now New York's 13th Congressional District from 1971 until 2017. He was basically almost one of the longest serving members in Congress, and definitely one of the last remaining members of the crew that created the Congressional Black Caucus. When you think about Shirley Chisholm and John Lewis and, some of the powerful folks that was at the table to get this done. He was also a war hero. He served for 23 terms. A term is 2 years long, so that's 46 years. He served for 23 terms in the House of Representatives and was cited as the most effective lawmaker in Congress, leading all of his colleagues in passing legislation. He was the primary sponsor of President Obama's historic health care reform law, what we know as Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. He was the person that was instrumental in getting Hillary Clinton to run to be a United States senator. Like, when I tell you the accomplishments, just incredible, from empowerment zones, the Affordable Care Act, low income housing tax credits, the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act back in 2009, the earned income tax credit. We all, like, for people who still got kids and look for that earned income tax credit, that's Charlie Rangel's fingerprints. The Opportunity Tax Credit, the Caribbean Basin Initiative, Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, the Rangel Amendment, which sounded the death knell of apartheid in South Africa. Did you hear what I just said? Telling people that representation doesn't matter and who's sitting in these rooms don't matter. He, in terms of commitment to education, created financial mechanisms to construct and rehabilitate public schools across the country. This man did so much. And I was looking at, like, different articles that was written about him, and you could just tell, like, some articles, he had to leave Congress on an ethics violation, like accepted a trip somewhere. He had an ethics scandal. I'm like, you don't get to overlook all this work and come to that, because if Clarence Thomas is still sitting and Alito are still sitting there behind on the Supreme Court, don't talk to me about ethics. Donald Trump with this Bitcoin foolishness and his personal Mar-a-Lago making money off the U.S. taxpayers. This man has turned the presidency into a straight 100% hustle. Straight hustle. So I just had to mention, and can spend some more time talking about Charlie Rangel, educating people on him. But when I say this was a bad brother, this was a bad brother. And to the point that Lakeisha made, unapologetically Black. If you don't think I show up in this room, represent my folks, you got another thought coming. I'm here to work for everybody, but you better believe I got my eye on how this impact Black folks.
Michelle, had he been there longer than, what's the guy's name? He actually came in and met. You interviewed him here.
Clyburn? Jim Clyburn.
Yeah, Clyburn.
Let me see when Clyburn went in. Jim, and that's who Keisha worked for.
Jim Clyburn?
Yep, when Keisha graduated from college, Lakeisha Myers, who was just on the phone, when she first graduated from college, her first job out of college was in Lena's office. She left Lena's office and went to go work for Clyburn in D.C.
Okay.
And because she's from Mississippi. And even though Clyburn represents Illinois, they had a connection. Let me see.
Because I've heard him be touted as the most powerful man.
He's the most powerful. He was one of the most powerful for sure.
Yeah.
But Charlie Rangel, I'm trying to see, when did Clyburn come in? When did he get elected? Hang on. But Clyburn is like 84.
Yeah,
Charlie Rangel was 94.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's what kind of
But
age.
it could have been older. But who served longer? You said 46 years for him, and
so Clyburn got elected in 92. Charlie Rangel got elected in the 70s.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So nah, it definitely
basically he was.
And
one of them
Clyburn was out of South Carolina.
He may have taken him up under his wing and
Clyburn was out of
him.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
So in any case, and like I said, I remember Congresswoman Moore one time talking about how she had been, working, trying to get positions so that she could serve on Ways and Means because of how powerful the committee was. And, just as a side note, she put out a video the other day talking about the vote that had passed in the House of Representatives advancing Donald Trump's ignorant bill that's going to do all this damage to Medicaid, Medicare, these cuts, getting people knocked off health care, messing up the Affordable Care Act for a lot of people. So when she posted it, like all these Trump supporters, Republicans was all posting on her post, and they was all talking crazy and just reckless and just, yeah, you need to go back to Milwaukee. It's a disgrace. And so for some reason I had time. And so one man, he said, oh yeah, where was she? Out having lunch with the president of South Africa? Man, when I tell you, I started tearing them damn people up on Facebook. I was like, in the words of Lakeisha Myers, I got time today. And when I tell you, I had me a ball. Clowning people on Congresswoman Moore's page. Because I'm like, go back to Milwaukee. She's a federal elected official. Her job is in D.C. That's where we elected her, and she paid to go to DC. I had a field day. So let me do this because y'all know I end the show early on Tuesday and Thursdays. Want to take a minute tomorrow to talk about the anniversary of the death of George Floyd, but I also want to take tomorrow to introduce y'all to a brother, and I use the term sparingly, by the name of Leo Terrell. Now, some of you, I encourage you to look him up before we get back together. Leo Terrell is the Black man that is leading the charge on behalf of the Trump administration that's messing with all these universities, that's going after Harvard, talking about I'm here to protect people, from anti-Semitism. He's over at the Office of Civil Rights as they are gutting civil rights. And I'm like, I don't want to say it, but it's just in my bones. They can always find a brother to help these people be on this nonsense, man. So folks don't know Leo Terrell, but I'm going to introduce you to this individual tomorrow. I'm going to do that. Yeah, because I was going to say something else. And
Danny Davis?
Danny
Davis.
Danny Davis. That's who Keisha worked for, not Clyburn.
Right.
Keisha worked for Danny Davis. My bad.
But she did work for Clyburn on
the committee. Yeah, on committee. I knew like it was a connection. But let me just do this as I close out. To the family of the brothers that lost their lives at the shooting by the gas station. What was that on? Ring and Satonia and Ring. Because there's an accident and you ask somebody for insurance. It reminded me of the video you showed me last week about the brother at the gas station, and another car is there and a sister gets out and her man jumps out thinking that the guy's looking at her, and he ends up killing his brother at the gas station, unloading 6-7 shots into the
station on Tatonia and Ring.
No. It wasn't. Well, this situation, Tatonia and Ring is like by the graveyard.
Yeah, it's by the graveyard off of there. And so, just the senseless loss of life and how people, you got to wake up and struggle to try to figure out like how you process this and deal with this. And people keep like, oh man, I hate that it's about to get hot. I hate that it's about to get warm. This ain't got nothing to do with hot. It ain't got nothing to do with heat. It's about the way people control themselves and the way they have devalued life. You looking for a reason to do something stupid. You just looking. And you take these guns away from some of these people, all that Billy Badass go out the window.
Yeah.
You ain't nothing without that dang gun.
Yeah.
So to them families, man, I feel so bad for y'all. It's been so many senseless loss of lives. It's gonna be more, but we got to check ourselves, man.
Yeah.
And y'all see these people in y'all family. Y'all know these trifling damn people. Call these people out. Like, man, what is you doing? Just like we had them people on here, the lady on here whose baby got hit by this car and they didn't stop. This ain't got nothing to do with the summertime. These is choices. All right, y'all. I got to get out of here. Appreciate y'all for hanging in there with me today. Russ, I appreciate y'all. Family, I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.
We gotta find us a better solution.